Okay, hello everyone. I'm Brigadier General Dwayne Wilson. I'm the commander of the Georgia Army National Guard. It's certainly exciting to be here today. I'm looking forward to getting to participate in today's podcast with my battle buddy, Major General Tom Grabowski, the commander of the Air National Guard.
Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Thomas Gasket Grabowski, and I am the commander of the senior servant for the 3,000 outstanding airmen in the Georgia Air National Guard. And like the boss said, op tempo is important, and that's kind of what we're going to do here is give the component perspectives on how the op tempo for the Air Guard is similar, but also different than the Army Guard. And I'll turn it over to you, Dwayne, to give a perspective on your side.
Hey, so I'm again honored to be your commander. We're very blessed in Georgia. I get to serve with about 11,000 of the nation's best and brightest soldiers. And as General Carden said, people will always be our number one strategic priority. Our soldiers, our families, our civilian employees will always be first and foremost our biggest priority. We've all heard the Chief of Staff of the Army say that soldiers are our most important weapon system, and I think that's never been more true than it is today. And as senior leaders, we have a responsibility to do all that we can do to make sure that at all echelons and all of our formations, leaders at all levels both understand and embrace this.
We have been continuously deployed on the air side for over 2 decades. The Joint Stars unit in and of itself has been continuously deployed for 20 years. So that Guard unit has not been all in garrison for 2 decades. That's very unusual for an Air Guard unit. And as we start to go into conversion, it's going to get busy, but it's going to be a little bit different type of busy. We're going to be doing more deployed in place missions. And then conversion in and of itself is a hectic time for our airmen because we're going to park that weapon system, and then simultaneously in Savannah, we're going to convert to C-130Js. Now, that being said, with change comes angst and uncertainty, but I can guarantee you that the Georgia Air National Guard has flown over 20 different weapon systems since the 1940s, and every time of it, our airmen have come out of it better. And I think what we're doing right now to retool the Georgia National Guard, specifically the air piece, is going to set the table for the next 25 years for our airmen. So these are going to be cutting-edge, enduring missions for our 2 air wings with the Air Battle Management Family of Systems, as well as the Battle Management Control Squadron, or Kingpin mission at Robbins, and then, of course, the J model conversion in Savannah. Now, that being said, we are also looking at our GSU restructure and making sure that the 1,000 men and women that support our geographically separated units, our intel units, our cyber units, our training center, and our ASOS have what they need to make sure that we're doing the right mission sets at those units to do first and foremost, prepare ourselves should we have to get into a conflict with a peer-to-peer foe and fight in the Pacific. It is not lost on me that this is not your daddy's Air National Guard. Our op tempo, quite frankly, since the towers fell, we are very much an operational reserve. So it's not 1 weekend a month, 15 days a year for most of our airmen because of their Air Force specialty codes. What we are trying to do on the air side, though, is look at unique, vanguard, cutting-edge ways to package training, bundle drills together, have super drills, look at some potential virtual or telecommute options for some of the ancillary training that we do, and things of that nature. That being said, General Carden, the boss is right when he says, our airmen and soldiers are ready to go. There may be some tired chiefs and colonels and generals, but our airmen are fired up. and they are ready to go. And you can, like the boss says, you can overtrain the Guard, but you can't over-deploy the Guard. Our airmen are, that's why they joined, and I feel like we have the best force structure that we've had in the 37 years I've been serving. The caliber of our airmen is, quite frankly, phenomenal.
So as General Grabowski was talking about the Air Guard and how busy they've been, the same is true for the Army National Guard. We're globally engaged. We may be out of Afghanistan. We may have a smaller footprint in the Middle East than we've had in previous years, but we're still extremely busy. There's still lots of deployments and lots of training going on. If I were to just look at the past year as an example, our formations, soldiers from the Georgia Army National Guard, have been deployed and operating in places like South Korea, Iraq, Kuwait, Poland, Romania, the country of Georgia, Morocco, and even along our own southwest border here in the U.S. And those are just a few of the places that we've been. Over the next 24 months, we're going to see the demand signal for deployments actually increase. So we'll probably, by the end of FY24, we will deploy about 2,400 of our soldiers. So there's still a huge requirement nationally for the Georgia Army National Guard, and so we're only able to do that though because of you and your service and your sacrifice, and we certainly appreciate that.
Not only do we fight the away game, but we also are on the hook to alleviate pain and suffering for the citizens of Georgia and the country when called upon. And no more was that on better display than the last 2+ years of COVID. So there's a responsibility for being in the Guard that is, quite frankly, more tasking, if you will, than being on active duty Air Force or in the reserves, because they're not on the hook to do the domestic support, but we're the first choice for Homeland Security. So, and that's not lost on me either. That when you joined the Guard, and I was, for the first 13 years, I was not full time. I was part time, and so that's difficult when you got to go to your civilian boss and go, hey, the boss, I've got to go now do a flood or a hurricane after you just came back from a federal deployment overseas. So we're trying to look at how we do training to make sure that when you come out to the unit, you're getting the most bang for your buck, and we're not, quite frankly, to put it in plain talk, jerking you around. Because we're also aware that it's a three-legged stool. So it's your job, your civilian job, it's your family, and it's us. And on a jump ball, we're always going to come in third. And so we're looking at ways to make it easier to be in the Guard in 2020 and beyond.
And if I were to look at the Army National Guard, about 85% of the force are traditional Guardsmen, right? We all have families, but about 85% of the force actually has a career, somewhere outside of the Army National Guard. And so what, like General Carden was saying, we want to do all that we can to try to ensure that, we're assisting our soldiers and maintaining a good, healthy, and productive work-life balance. So some of the things that I'm talking to our brigade commanders about, and we'll be talking with the brigade commanders about over the next few weeks as we look at finalizing our training plans for FY24, is really looking at predictability. Things that we can do to increase predictability for the force, and there's really about 3 of them that I want commanders to focus on. The first one is getting training plans out to our soldiers in a timely manner, right? So making sure that you all know what we're going to be requiring you to do as early as we can get that information to you, so that then you can plan accordingly. right? And then second, I want to make sure that we're minimizing the number of times that we change that plan on you. Now, I know that there's going to be times when we can't help it, when just because of range availability as an example or something like that, we've got to look at adjusting a plan. But I think there's a lot we can do to kind of minimize that and give some predictability to you, and that will certainly help stabilize you, your career, and your family. And then thirdly, just like General Carden was saying, I know most all of us have probably served more than 39 days a year. And so we're going to look hard at that, right? And we want to make sure that if we're going to ask you to do more than your IDT periods and your 15-day AT, well, then we want that to be tied to an actual deployment, a NOST, a notification of sourcing deployment that's coming up, or a high-end training event somewhere that's going to require you to have to train more days than normal. So we're going to look pretty hard at that. I'm focused on that with your commanders, and we're going to see if we can help stabilize the formation a little bit and give some predictability back to you. Also, just like General Carden was saying, there's significant events that are going to come up, and we realize that there's things that are happening within your families. There's things that are happening within your careers that are going to compete for our time, and we need to be able to realize that. Now, I do know that sometimes as leaders, we're just not going to have the flexibility, right, to be able to not have you at certain training events, especially when those are tied to the deployments that I was talking about, or significant training events leading up to a deployment. But there's a lot of times that leaders can provide you the flexibility to not miss those significant events in your families. And some of those examples, are certainly the birth of a child, any ball games where your kids are participating in significant events like that. There's holidays, anniversaries. I mean, there's things out there that we've all missed, and I want commanders to just look hard at those, and then when we can provide some flexibility to you, we need to do that. So we'll be focusing on that as well. And then also, I think most all of you probably joined the organization for some educational benefits, right? And you get those really in two ways. There's federal benefits. The GI Bill would be an example of a federal benefit. Federal tuition assistance is another example. Right here in the state of Georgia, we can also provide you the service cancelable loan to help pay for tuition, and all of those are just because you're willing to serve and you wear the uniform, those benefits. And so we want to make sure that you're leveraging those and that you're using those. So by focusing a little bit on predictability and stabilization, we're hoping that that's going to help you to be able to leverage and use those benefits a little easier than maybe you have been able to in the past. So that's where we're going to focus our efforts. We also have a huge staff directorate right here in our headquarters building, our education department, that can help you at your university, college, technical school, or whatever, help leverage those benefits and make sure that you're getting all of those that you can. So don't hesitate to reach out through your chain of command to us if we can assist. Hey, so this has certainly been a very informative topic, I think, for us, and so I look forward to hopefully getting some feedback from you all, and I look forward to maybe getting to participate in some future podcasts so that we can make sure that we're addressing any issues or concerns across the force. We've talked about a lot of good stuff here. And I'll tell you. We're very busy, and we're gonna continue to be very, very busy for the foreseeable future here. I can't think of a more exciting time to be serving in the Army National Guard and in the Army than right now. For some of the reasons that we already talked about. Right, we're gonna use you at the state and national level. For the reasons that you join the organization. We're gonna get to put those to good use. I think. and so we're certainly appreciative of that. There's never been a more important time, I don't think, for us to really kind of focus in on work-life balance than right now, to try to make sure that we're doing all that we can to try to achieve a healthy balance where we can. But as we close, though, I want to just take one final opportunity to thank you and your families for your service and for your sacrifice. We certainly don't take you for granted. We're only successful as an organization because of you all, and we're only able to do what we do for the state and for the nation because of you all and your dedication and your professionalism. And again, don't take it for granted. I'm humbled and honored to be able to serve with each and every one of you. So thanks one final time for making the Georgia Army National Guard the very best Army National Guard in the United States.
And ditto for me. Go Guard.